Welcome to the Towering Tropical Shirt NFL Football Update, where I get to talk about all things NFL. As always, brought to you by Mango Rum, so good and good for you. Here we are in Week 9. We're already in Week 9, and if you haven't been paying attention, quarterbacks are getting whacked faster than a snitch at a mob wedding. I mean, guys, QBs are going down with injury after injury. And you know what else? You know who also got whacked? First head coach, Josh McDaniels. Adios, muchachos. He and his GM go from being employed in Las Vegas to being unemployed and just hanging out in the desert. And so that's going to be the first game we're going to talk about when the Raiders are at home. They take on those amazing, really inept New York Giants. What do you need to know about this game? Daniel Jones is coming back from a neck injury, mainly because Tyrod Taylor is so mashed up from his ribs. And the Raiders, under new management, under new owner, under new coaching with Antonio Pierce, he's starting a rookie, Aiden O'Connell. That's right, that Aiden O'Connell. I believe he was a fifth-round draft choice. How is this game going to work out? Who the hell knows? The last time we saw Daniel Jones before he got hurt, he couldn't get the ball into the ocean if he was hanging on a boat. But meanwhile, the Raiders are just as dysfunctional on offense. Stud wideout wide receiver Devontae Adams wants out of Vegas so fast, he's willing to roll his own snake eyes. So this game just being up and down, having no idea where to go with this. Even though change is always good, I'm still going to take the G-men just because I think the Raiders are still going to be a little shell-shocked. So I like the G-men to go into the desert and win that game. And speaking of quarterback changes, here's another one for you. The Vikings going into Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Both teams are 4-4 and in the thick of the NFC playoff hunt. But we've got quarterback changes. The Vikings, well, they've lost Kirk Cousins for the season with an Achilles injury. Torn Achilles seems to be going around. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Falcons are benching Desmond Ridder, who had like 10 turnovers in 5 games, and they're going with Taylor Heineke. Yeah, that's right, that Taylor Heineke. So how do I see this game going? Who the hell knows? The Vikings are starting a rookie, Jalen something. I can't remember what his damn name is. So we have no idea what he's got. We know who Taylor Heineken is. Well, you might need a Heineken after watching him play, but I really don't know. I mean, for this game, normally I would say let's go with the experience at quarterback with Taylor Heineke, but the Vikings defense has been playing very, 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 very well. The rookie QB, all he has to do is not turn the football over. So you know what? I'm going to take the Vikings, kind of like in a mild upset, but I'm taking them to go to Atlanta and beat the Falcons. And now for the games that actually really mean something, we're going to go over there into Europe, and we're going to check out the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs playing in Frankfurt, Germany. Last week, well, you know, the Chiefs lost to the Broncos, which is kind of surprising. But, you know, when you think about it, you know, they were probably looking past the Broncos. Meanwhile, the Dolphins, they went into Philly and they got spanked around by the Eagles. So, you know, the Dolphins are a really good team. They score a lot of points, but they can't seem to beat the good teams. Meanwhile, the Chiefs, well, they're the Super Bowl champs. And while they haven't looked spectacular, you know, they're still 6-2. And they're still on. They've got a better defense than they've ever had before. How do I see this game going? I don't anticipate a track meet. I think the Chiefs defense is going to keep them in check. You still have Travis Kelce, I think he will bounce back from having a really crappy game. So you know what? When in doubt, believe in Pat Mahomes. I know they're going up against Tyreek Hill, who's probably going to have a really good game against his old team, but I still believe in Patrick Mahomes. So I say I'm taking the Chiefs. Another game that means something, we got the Dallas Cowboys going into Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. The first of 2 really good NFC rival clashes between these 2 teams. Dak Prescott has really been, you know, the king of the NFC East. He's something like 27-5 or 27-7 with over 60 touchdowns and only like a handful of interceptions. Last year when they played the Eagles games, neither quarterback played against each other because they were either hurt, because one was hurt and the other was hurt the next time. So we really don't know what to expect. Cowboys look like they found themselves a little bit more last week in their win and their romping over the Rams. Meanwhile, the Eagles, well, they spanked the Dolphins last week, but they say Jalen Hurts is kind of hobbled up right now. But you know what? nobody can stop A.J. Brown. Nobody, not even a National Guard. And the game is being played in Philly. So how do I see this game going? It's going to be a slugfest. I think the first team, the 27, is going to win. And as good as I think that the Cowboys think that they are, they always seem to fall short against the really good teams like the Eagles. So therefore, fly, Eagles, fly. Yes, fly, Eagles, fly. Lisa St. Croix, I'm taking the Eagles to win. Now we move on to a battle between AFC heavyweights with the Bengals going up to Buffalo to take on the Bills. A rematch from last year's playoffs. It was won by the Bengals, by the way. Anyway, how the Bengals been playing? They've been playing very, very well. Joe Burrow is healthy. The offense is really clicking. He's moving around. He's hitting Jamar Chase. And they actually found their running game with Joe Mixon. And their defense has been solid. Meanwhile, with the Bills, we all know what their offense is all about. It's Josh Allen to Stephon Diggs, or it's just Josh Allen all by himself. How do I see this game going? The Bills, they are still a great team, but they're not able to rush the passer. They've had some really bad injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They're not going to be able to put any pressure, I think, on Joe Burrow, and it's not a good matchup for them. So I'm really sorry, Ellen, but I like the Bengals to go up to Buffalo and handle the Bills. Monday Night Football matchup, we've got my Jets New York Jets at home taking on the Lightning Bolts, also known as the Los Angeles Chargers. We all know about the Chargers. They can score points. They can throw the ball downfield. They've got Keenan Allen. And running back, they got Austin Eckler, and they've got Joe Burrow, the latest rich quarterback, who guy's got a golden arm. Meanwhile, the Jets, well, if you saw their game last week, which was one of the ugliest games I have ever seen, you know they do not play pretty, but they win. Regardless of what you think about Zach Wilson, and I know most people hate him, they do win. So how do I see this game going? Well, the Chargers are a very pretty team, but their defense is very suspect. Even with a couple of good pass rushers, they still have a bad secondary, and they don't strike me as physical. Meanwhile, those Jets, well, they play dirty. They like to get dirty, they like to play hard, get gritty, and they have the mental fortitude. They never quit. Each of their games they've won, they've come back in the fourth quarter. I don't see that changing. Another fourth quarter win. Say what you want about Zach Wilson, but I think that last win has really shown that he's a lot better quarterback than he was last year. That may not be saying much, but he's a better quarterback than he was last year. So I like the Jets to stay at home and to win, and beat the Los Angeles Chargers. So those are the games. How did I do last week? Well, I went 3-3. Like I said, this game can humble you, but I'm still over 500 for the season. I think it's a 586 clip, something like that. So, like my picks, don't like them, let me know. Subscribe to my YouTube page. But more importantly, get out there, have fun, watch the games, and we'll see you soon.